What's your full name? Where were you born? And where did you live?
Oh, Roy Meyer. I was born in Hackensack, New Jersey. I lived in Pagoda for 17 years. Then from Pagoda, I went to Hackensack for 2 years. And from Hackensack, I went to Bergenfield for 15 years. And then been up in Hillsdale since '87.
Okay. When did you go into the service?
I went into the service in May of 1943.
And what branch?
And went right directly into the U.S. Navy Seabees.
Okay. And what's the significance of Seabees?
The Seabees is equivalent to the Army Engineers.
Okay.
We do all the construction on land for the Navy. We built pontoon barges that we'd back up to an LST. They'd unload the LST onto a barge and we'd take them into shore because we only drew 4 feet of water.
Yeah, wow. What's
So
an LST?
an LST is a landing ship. The front doors open.
Okay.
They bring all the equipment, tanks and trucks and everything, and put them on, and we take them off of there.
Okay, where did you take boot camp? Or
I took my boot camp at Camp Perry, Virginia.
Okay.
From Camp Perry, Virginia, went to Davisville, Rhode Island. From Davisville, Rhode Island, went to Pier 92. Pier 92, went to England.
Pier 92, New York City?
Yeah.
Okay.
Went to Dartmouth, England. We stayed in the Royal Naval College. And then we put our pontoon barges together there. And then coming up for D-Day, we had them all ready. We put them, they towed us across the English Channel and went to work.
How old were you then?
17.
17. At
Yeah.
that age, did you have to give parents permission at that age?
No,
No?
no, not at that time.
Uh-huh.
Now, if you went into the service now, you have to have permission.
Right.
But wartime, there was no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
They take it.
About when did you cross the English Channel?
We left England at 10 o'clock at night on June 5th. And June 6th, we hit the beach 2 hours after the invasion started.
And which beach was that?
Omaha Beach.
Okay. What do you remember about Omaha Beach?
A lot of it was the guns shooting at us, a lot of casualties on the beach. Because when you come in on the beach, the first LSTs that came in, they brought them up to the beach and they dumped them off. And they'd go out about 10 feet and it was there, instead of being a dry spot, it was a wet spot. And the water got to about 10 feet deep. And with a full pack and everything, forget it. I had no choice.
Yeah.
Then from there, the Navy sunk ships in the water for Omaha Beach for a breakwater. They took all Liberty ships and they sunk them. And we lived on the Liberty ships till we got our camp built. As soon as we got the camp built, we moved up on top of the cliff and we lived up there.
What made you become a CB, a construction battalion?
I wanted to go in the Marines. But when I went to go in the Marines, they rejected me because I was colorblind.
Okay.
But as far as I'm concerned, they made the biggest mistake going. Because by me being colorblind, the camouflage that they put over everything, I don't see the camouflage. But I'll tell you what's underneath.
Yeah.
And the Seabees, oh sure, come on. So I went to Seabees.
Yeah. How long were you in? So D-Day again was June 6, 1945.
Mm-hmm.
How long were you in that theater?
I was in the European theater till I would say December of '44. And then from there we came home and went over to the Pacific Theater.
Okay. Did you, obviously you saw combat in
In France.
European in France.
Right.
Where in France? Where,
Omaha Beach, just on the
Okay.
beach, right.
Okay.
We never left the beach,
Okay,
the whole time we were in France.
okay.
Then the time we saw action was in Borneo. And then from Borneo we went back to the Philippines and set up camp in the Philippines.
So you mentioned before that you were in the European theater,
Yeah,
came back to the Panama Canal through the canal, and then went to,
yeah. We stopped in New York City.
okay,
Went home for 3 days.
okay,
They sent us home for 30 days.
right.
The third day we got a telegram report to Pier 92, so
Yeah.
that was the end of the
30 days, furlough, yeah.
And we went down through the canal. We stopped at Anahuac, which was a beer stop. Then from there we went to Calicoan in the Philippines.
You know, we talked, didn't have something to do with the atomic bomb?
Yeah, the island is no more. That's where they tested the atom bomb.
Okay,
But after they, you know, used it during the war for
Right.
this, that, and everything, then they blew it out to test the bomb.
mm-hmm,
Then we went from Anahuac over to the Philippines. We stopped in Hawaii and then went to Anahuac. And then we stopped in the Philippines and started building our camp, permanent camp. And then we worked from that camp. From there, one outfit went to Borneo, another outfit went up to Tacloban, and they split us up all over. And then we all got back together again, and we ended up in China.
What, as a construction battalion person, what did you construct in those islands?
We constructed pontoon, but it's got a good, give you a good idea of what we made. That's the causeway.
Right.
Here's pontoon barges,
Okay,
and they back up to an LST. I don't know whether it shows it in here or not. Yeah, that's all Normandy. This is all the
Yeah.
stuff that we.
mm-hmm,
Now, this is the breakwater.
yeah,
See where they sunk these ships?
right.
And then everybody would come in like this, and it's here.
And the purpose of sinking these ships to create a breakwater, why did they do that?
Because it's the waves coming in, otherwise they never could have landed anything.
Okay,
The way you had 9 and 10 foot waves all the time.
yeah. And an LST, as you said before, only had a 4-foot draft?
Now, we had a 4-foot draft.
Okay,
It's part of our barges.
yeah,
We took a little bit of a beating.
yeah.
Uh,
Were you wounded in the Atlantic or the Pacific
Nope.
areas? Okay.
I lucked out all the way around.
How about, did you lose buddies?
Yeah, we lost a few.
Yeah,
This, I think it's this one.
and you mentioned at Pacific that the Seabees would lay down airfields?
Yes, we worked at the, see, here's where it backed up to the LST.
Yeah. Wow.
In the Pacific, we did 2 airports. Put the metal plates down so the planes could come in and land.
Okay,
Because those too sandy and so forth, the planes would
right.
never get the ground packed tight enough.
And these islands became like stopovers
Yes.
to the main island of Japan?
Hey, that's all part of it.
Yeah. I see, how did these medals come about?
One is for European theater,
Mhm.
one is for the American theater, one is the Pacific, one is Chinese, China, and one's for the Philippine Liberation. And the ribbon one is from Bergen County.
Okay. That's quite a span of history there.
Yeah,
Yeah, this was recently awarded to you?
yes.
Yeah,
That I only got last year.
okay.
Long time coming.
Did you have, you were not wounded or didn't have any
No.
illnesses or anything?
No.
Yeah. And how about the equipment that the CBs use?
We had, I have to say, the equipment that we got was the best. We had bulldozers, we had cranes, we had anything we wanted, we got.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might take a little while to get, but anything we wanted, we got. With no questions asked. Then when we were in the Pacific, we ended up as a stevedore battalion. We'd unload all the ships and bring all the dry goods in and unload them on and they'd take it away in the trucks to wherever they had to go.
Right. The, all of us that have been in the service, there were good times and bad times.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember some of the good times and?
Oh, yeah, I can remember one especially good time in the Philippines when we were unloading all the ships and everything. We invited our officers to a party and gave them back all the booze that we got. They used to bring little bottles of liquor over,
Yeah.
and that was sent up to the officers' quarters. But we managed to get some and throw them a party. So. Little things like that.
Yeah. How about unusual experiences while you were in the service?
Not too many. I had one experience. My buddy and I, when we were in France, we decided to go to Paris. And the CEO said, nobody goes to Paris, it's not taken, you can't. So we went to Paris. And when we come back, when I went, I was bosun mate second class. When we come back, the commander, we went up for captain's mast. He said,
All tenants has been canceled today. All tenants has been canceled for today.
where were you? Oh, we took a trip to Paris, sir. What did I, my orders were nobody goes. I said, well,
Following students,
we
please come to
figured-
guidance. Dean Pertursky and Morgan Sacken to guidance.
we figured we'd never have another chance to get here. So we went to Paris to see it. So in the morning, he'd look out the window and there were German troops in the city. Look out the next morning, it was American troops. That's that time we were going back and forth
Right.
just before de Gaulle got in. So he said, oh, I'm glad to hear that, Seaman second class.
Oh, wow.
Broke me down 4 ranks.
Yeah.
But when I got out, I was back up to bosun mate second. I would have made cheap if I didn't go to Paris, but I'm not sorry,
Yeah.
because it was worth it to me.
What made you go into the Navy? Why did you go
Why
into
did
the
I go in?
service? Not so much the Navy, but
Well,
the service.
I went in because I felt it was my job to help out the country.
Okay.
So,
And after service, what was your civilian life like?
when I come out, I went to work in Packet Hamburgers in Hackensack behind the deli counter. And a friend of mine come up to me and he asked me, he said, how would you like to be a carpenter? I said, sure, why not? So I went down, I joined the union, and in the union 60-something years. And no regrets. They did me very good and I did them very good.
I wouldn't be surprised if you still have a card.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I still carry it.
Uh-huh. And we have some medals here which we did cover. And what's the significance of this?
That's
This one.
that explains what the CBs are
Okay.
and how they got their name and everything else. And that was, you know,
Yeah, and I remember for my dad too, if you can see it, Rebecca, it's a B.
It's a B with tools in one hand and guns in the other hand.
CB meaning Construction Battalion, but that was the emblem of the CBs, of which Roy was a member of. Maybe
Yeah.
get close up that in a
Yeah.
few minutes, okay. Did you bring back anything from the wars? Mementos,
Me.
the number one thing.
Now, other than what I have here, these two books, one of the guys in our battalion printed these all up, and everybody that was in the battalion got the two books.
You know,
And like I say, I can't replace them. They've been in a couple of they're in a historical museum up in Park Ridge.
that's good.
They loaned them for a while, and,
Right.
but other than that,
Well, any other last comments you might like to make?
not really. I'm just glad that I could do what I did, and hey, and we still get together once in a while.
Well, as one veteran to another, thank you for your service, Roy.
Hey,
We appreciate
same
it.
to you.
Thank you. Roy, if you explain the significance
This is,
of one.
this is, in the CBs, it was battalions, roughly 1,200 people in a battalion. And they started off at number 1, and I was in 3 ones, 111th, 111th U.S. Navy Construction Battalion.